After the Jays lay a beat down on the Kansas City Royals over the last 3 days to start their Rogers Center homestand here, and welcoming them back to Toronto, to Canada, they welcome in the Cleveland Indians, or Guardians, to Rogers Center, and Game 1 does not go as planned. Jays lose 5-2 and drop to 54-49 on the year. But before everyone starts freaking out, right? Because everyone's like, I've read all over the place, oh, I'm not a playoff team anymore, game over, season's over. And I'm thinking to myself, hold on a second here. You don't need to go 40-0, 50-0. You can't do that. So my thought is this, all right? As a baseball player myself, I have to have this mindset. You just won 4 in a row, right? You beat the Red Sox once. You won the next 3. You've won 4 in a row. You lose today. Tough one. But you get right back on the horse tomorrow. You win 4 in a row after that. That's how you be a good team, is not allowing win streaks to prolong too long. And then when you lose 1, you don't lose 7 in a row, right? You won 4, you lose 1, you win 3 or 4 more. And that's what great teams do. That's when this team takes that next step forward. All right, like I said, the offense wasn't great. He only scored 2 runs. It was a Vladimir Guerrero 2-run bomb. We'll get to all that in a bit. Jays only had 6 hits and 12 strikeouts. Again, not a great ball game for the Toronto Blue Jays offensively. Top of the 3rd inning, Robbie Ray struggling early on, right? And then Hyun Ramirez hits an RBI single. Miles Straw comes in to score. Guy gets thrown out at the plate, and they should have reviewed it, but they don't. They choose not to. The Cleveland decides not to review it, and he's out. But it's still an RBI single. You're down 1-0. Then Mercado, it's an RBI single. Reyes comes in to score, and you're down 2-0 in the top half of the 3rd. But I'm sitting here like, the Jays' offense is good enough, right? The Jays' offense is good enough to score 2, right? They'll get back into this game. Bottom of the 6th inning, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. comes up with George Springer on, and he rips a ball. And rips a ball is such an understatement, because he hits it 115 miles an hour deep into left field, and it's way gone. Way out of here, and the Jays have tied it at 2. We're all pumped up. Next batter, Marcus Semien hits a deep fly ball to left field. Looks good. It dives, and it makes the catch of the wall. And in my personal opinion, that was the turning point in this ball game. That was the turning point for the Blue Jays losing this game. The reason I say that, Eli Morgan coming into the games, ERA north 7, right? Has not had a great season overall. The Jays, last time they saw him, they rocked him in 2 2/3 innings. He was dealing to this point. Vladdy hits the 2-run bomb to tie it. And if Marcus Semien goes there and hits back-to-back jacks and gives you the lead, your bullpen is good enough to shut that game down. And you saw the way this game progressed, they would have been able to do that. But instead, it dies at the wall. Morgan comes out of the game, and from that moment on, their bullpen comes out, and their bullpen is absolutely dynamite. Not other than Karinchak, and I believe that's the only guy that they threw out there with a north 3 ERA, and he has 3.43, and he's got 75 strikeouts in 40-something innings, and he's fantastic. So if you took that lead, you might have been able to hang on to this game. But because it didn't go out and you stayed tied, I would trust their bullpen over ours. I understand the revamping of our pen, and it looks good and everything looks great. Their bullpen is flat out insane. And you got to beat their starting pitcher to win games, it seems. That's just the way it seems to be against Cleveland. And we saw that today, how it didn't play out well, because in the top half of the 10th inning off of Brad Hand, Jose Ramirez, it's a 2-run, Ahmed Rosario, it's an RBI single, Miles Straw comes in to score, and then Jose Ramirez hits a 2-run bomb to put them up 5-2, and that was the game. Everybody getting mad at Brad Hand. Let me give you a scenario, okay? You remember Daniel Hudson when he was a Toronto Blue Jay, right? Remember, he did a lot of great things after the Blue Jays as well. He came to the Blue Jays and he blew 2 games to start the year, right? His first 2 outings, the first game of the year, he gave up a home run in extra innings against the Detroit Tigers. And everyone's saying, this guy's terrible. What is this guy doing? He's an ERA of 10 over 2 games. What is it? This guy's trash. Ends up really finding himself the rest of the way. Ends up getting traded to the Washington Nationals and closing out the final game, Game 7 of the World Series. So I understand people are going to yell at Brad Hand because of his first 2 outings in the Blue Jay, and they haven't been good. Not going to beat around the bush and say, well, he's been all right. No, he hasn't been good. But I have faith in the track record that he will be good enough You just got to find a way to keep firing him out there because he is good. You just got to find a way to get him in a groove. And so far, he's not quite there yet. All right, let's get to the offense because there wasn't a whole lot, as I mentioned. 2 for 5 in the game for Springer. By the way, congrats, George Springer, for being named AL Player of the Week when you're hitting over 400 and you have an on-base percentage of like 520. I mean, my God, you should be. So great job for George Springer. He also went 2 for 5 again today with a run scored. Vladdy went 2 for 5 with a run scored, 2 RBIs in the bomb. And those 2 guys amounted for 4 of the 6 hits by the Toronto Blue Jays today. So you can tell the offense really wasn't flowing at all. Pitching-wise, Robbie Ray, as I mentioned earlier, wasn't his best start in his first outing at Rogers Center. Went 6 innings, allowed 6 hits, 2 runs, 4 strikeouts, and 3 walks. So 2 runs over 6 innings is apparently not a great start for Robbie Ray. We've been so used to him dominating, but then he walked 3 guys. That's not been Robbie Ray this season. But overall, 2 runs over 6 innings, you can't complain. Adam Simber's come out. He's been flat out dominant. The fact that we got him with control for Joe Panik alone baffles me, but it's fine. I don't care because it's a fantastic deal for the Toronto Blue Jays. He went in 1 inning, allowed 1 hit, and got a strikeout and had a clean inning, so a good job from him. And Joakim Soria, very under the radar move, obviously with the Jose Barrios trade being made, and then not too long after that to close off trade deadline. You know, Joakim Soria comes to the Jays and we're all like, well, he's got a 4.5 ERA, he's 37 years old now, whatever. But that trade reminds me a lot of Jason Grilli and Joaquim Benoit back in 2016 when we brought those 2 guys over and they flat out pitched amazing. And we're like, man, these guys are great. They ended up being 7-8 inning guys for us that year. Joakim Soria has a great track record. People are just going to say, well, his ERA is 4.30 going into this game today. He had a bad start to the year, don't get me wrong. But his month of July, he had an ERA of just north 2. And if you watch that today, if you watched him out there today, you'll be like, oh, okay, he's good. Yeah, he's good. He was fantastic in his 1 inning work, going 1, 2, 3, getting a strikeout. And Joakim Soria's career ERA, I didn't even know this until they posted it. He has an ERA for his career over 700 and something innings of like 3.06 for his career. Yeah, he is good. And a very under-the-radar move, but a very good trade for the Toronto Blue Jays. And he does a great job in his 1 inning of work. Jordan Romano makes his fret as always, walking the first guy he sees, and then finding a way to get out of it. Goes 1 inning, gets a strikeout, a walk. Nice play by Randall Grichuk in right field to keep the game tied. But again, your offense is not getting it done, and you're running out of relievers that you actually rely on. And then you go to Brad Hand in extra innings, and it all falls through. But either way, the bullpen, I'm not mad at them. They did an all right job. And don't get mad at Charlie Montoya for putting out Brad Hand because you can't be. Who else were you going to put out? Tim Macy pitched yesterday. Trevor Richards pitched yesterday. So who else is there? Nobody. You had to go Brad Hand. He's a closer. He's been a closer for years. I mean, he had to be the guy to go out there. So you can't blame Charlie for that. The one thing that I question for Charlie, not really go at him for, but question, is Alejandro Kirk. In the later part of the ball game, do you want your best defensive lineup out there? I understand you're in a tie ball game, but Alejandro Kirk has shown us this year, he may be the better bat. He may have had a hit. I think he had a hit in this ball game. But Reese McGuire, I think we can all agree, is a better defensive catcher than Alejandro Kirk. And I'm not saying it would have been any different if this didn't happen, but in that 10th inning, the first pitch Brad Hand throws is a ball in the dirt, and he does not get down to block it. I don't know if he tried to pick it, if he was like half-assed trying to block it. I don't know what he was trying to do there. And there was a couple times where balls got away from Alejandro Kirk today, and it's just... And then he threw a ball into center field, right? It's just the things like that. It's like, man, that's just ugly. I don't care if you hit 290, 300. If you're abysmal defensively, I mean, I don't want you out there. So the fact that Reese McGuire didn't come out there to pinch hit, didn't come out there to play defense, he came out there to pinch run. That's something I question. Another thing I question is Lourdes Gurriel Jr. not coming in to pinch hit for Kevin Biggio in the 10th, or even Alejandro Kirk there in the bottom half of the 9th inning with Santiago Espinal on base. But it doesn't happen. You don't get any offense in the early goings of the game, and you lose. Yeah, that's just the way it is. You can't really blame Charlie for the loss. There's a few things he might have been able to do differently, but he's not the reason we lost this game today. The reason we lost this game is the Jays only had 6 hits today on 12 and struck out 12 times. They went up there, and the thing I have a problem with is why do hitters go up there looking for something they can't hit or they're not great at hitting, right? Why do they do that? You go up there looking for something that you can drive, you can hit hard. So look for something that you're good at hitting. The Blue Jays are a great fastball hitting team. Well, they looked awful. They were looking off speed. I don't know how many times I saw fastballs at 91, 92 from Eli Morgan taken right down the middle. And I'm like, that is served up on a platter to be taken out of the ballpark. Look fastball, react off speed. They weren't doing that today. They were doing the opposite. They were looking off speed, which they're not great at hitting. I wouldn't say they're not great, but they're much better fastball hitters. And the fastball was just beating them. You know, and that's a tough day in the office, man. I don't know if that's exactly what happened, but it looked on TV like that was what's happening. But like I mentioned earlier, the game of baseball is funny. You know, you can lose a game like this, and then they can bounce back tomorrow, and instantly we're talking totally different about this team. I understand you're in a race, and you need teams to lose, and blah, blah, blah. But as I've said countless times, until this team gets above 10 games over 500, don't even bother looking at the standings. Because it's just going to stress you out and make you angry. And the Jays are still at that dreaded 6 games over the 500 mark. They can't get over it. They just cannot do it. They dropped to 5 games over 500 today. And it's just like, I don't know what it is. It just seems that every time they get there, they just hit a wall. I don't know what it is. Now, game 2 of the 4-game series against the Cleveland Indians/Guardians goes tomorrow night. Hyun Jin Ryu gets the ball for the Blue Jays in his Blue Jays debut at Rogers Center. So it's going to be interesting to see Ryu in Blue Jay blue. Probably going to be the powder blues because they always wear powder blue with Ryu on the mound. In game 2 against Zach Plesac. That's going to be a very good pitching matchup. If I'm not mistaken, Plesac has a really good fastball. So go up there looking for the fastball, and good things could happen. I thought he was doing a lot better than he actually was in ERA North 4, but Eli Morgan had ERA North 7, and things didn't go well today. So the great thing about baseball, you never know what you're going to see on any given day, no matter what the team looks like. But like I said earlier, you won 4 in a row, you lost 1. Get right back on the horse and get back at it tomorrow. You go out there and you lose tomorrow, well, then you've won 4 and lost 2, and you're kind of just not really going anywhere, right? So tomorrow's a big one. You get back into the win column, you get back to 6 above 500, and then you start another win streak. You started back on a roll again, all right? So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and did not enjoy the ball game today, smack the like button. Do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you have not already. Comment down below your thoughts on the video, your thoughts on the game, what you like, what you not like from today's ball game for the Toronto Blue Jays. Twitter is down below for myself. Follow, send me a DM to that great stuff. The Instagram link is down below, so follow up there if you have not done so already. And I will talk to you guys, Raptors edition. Yeah, you heard me. Very soon, once we get the 100% official word about Kyle Lowry leaving, which we already have given that word, but what we're getting back in the sign and trade, and once all that stuff happens, I will be talking to you guys, Raptors edition, as Kyle Lowry is no longer a Toronto Raptors and Miami Heat, so it's very, 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 very sad times in Toronto. We just literally got beaten in extra innings by Cleveland, and you lose Kyle Lowry all within like 10 minutes. So we're all sad. I'll talk to you guys very shortly with that. And as for the Blue Jays, as I mentioned, game 2 goes tomorrow between the Jays and the Cleveland Indians. All right, it's a 7:07 first pitch there at Rogers Center. Hyun Jin Ryu, Zach Plesac's on the mound. I'm at the ball game, so the video will be uploaded later than usual. All right, so thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll talk to you guys then.